going to show a managed macOS device and a BYOD iOS device. So this is actually a good segue. One of the things we're actually on the finishing to build in the next 60 days is the connect to private access integration. Now that was very subtle and fast right there, which was I just log in to my Mac through Jamf Connect. Now it's kind of not shown here specifically, but when you log in with Jamf Connect through your IDP, that actually does everything that has to happen. That makes it so Jamf Trust is activated automatically. So that whole login that you do with Connect is when you first unbox your Mac, happens at the setup assistant before you even see the desktop. And so what's happened is by the time you hit the desktop, all your VPN and all your networking and all this trusted access stuff that you need to be ready to go has been set up. So that's the whole no step 3 out of the box seamless thing. And so no one else is offering that sort of thing, right? Where it's just literally VPN is set up and networking is ready to go out of the box. And so this is showing that this Mac, as has been just set up, is on MDM. And now we're going to open up Mail. And technically speaking, there's some new stuff we can do now that is not in this video, where we can actually automatically push the Exchange account. So you open up Mail, and because the VPN is already active, everything is already there. Your Mail just starts loading. It is already done, logged in, and ready to go. So there's some other feature stuff that is coming here, and you'll just see I'm just setting up an Exchange account, and it all works because we're on private access. So I do the same thing now with Slack, where I go in, I log in with Slack, and you've seen this before, but I log in with Slack and I'm able to get in. Now, and that is because private access is enabled. We have access policies set up through conditional access and the trusted access documentation that tells you how to make it so that if you don't have private access running, you would not have been able to log into Slack. And we'll actually see that on the iOS side in a second. But here I'm able to send messages. Everything is just working. But now if I go and I turn off private access, I have this little thing. This is kind of tamper resistance and ZTNA routing enforcement. If I turn off private access, I'm then not able to do things. So I start typing into Slack, and what happens is those messages can't send because we've effectively prevented access to the SaaS infrastructure without the service running. And same with Office 365 here in Exchange. So you can't connect. It's not allowing you to sync. You can't send. You can't receive. It is in a kind of stuck state there. So you then re-enable private access, and as you can imagine, I'll just fast forward. As you can imagine, it all just starts flowing again. So turn it back on. I hit refresh. Now Mail's working, and then Slack is now in a much happier place again. Right. So that's the Mac OS experience. Now BYOD with user enrollment. This is a fresh iPhone. Just pull it off the shelf, and I'm now just going to say, well, I'm going to log in with my perfectly valid work credentials to access my email account. Just as I'm sure every single one of us on this call has done, if not here, using Outlook. And I've just logged in, and now I try to log in, and boom, you can't do it. It's like, wait a sec. Nope, this is not a sanctioned device. You are not a sanctioned device yet to be able to log in, because how could I, as IT, told the difference between this device that I'm actually using as a trusted employer from being a device that's been hacked somewhere around the world where I'm trying to log in with those bad credentials. So same thing with Slack. I'm now going to say, well, fine, I'm going to use Slack to try to do this. Another SaaS application. So I try to log in with SaaS or with my credentials, and nope, not allowed to work. So finally, it's like, okay, well, fine. I'm going to do this onboarding stuff that I was told by IT that I had to do. So I'm going to go ahead and use this account-driven user enrollment process. So I go into Settings, General, VPN Device Management, Sign into Work and School, type in my email address, and I go. And this is an old video. We now have single sign-on here, where it's actually, again, your Okta identity login there. Yeah, that works. You sign into iCloud. This is using managed Apple IDs now, and you just hit continue a few times. You have to sign in again, which is unfortunate, but this is something that Apple fixes in iOS 16, which is, again, investing in making this process a whole lot easier. So you sign in there, you get in with your credentials, and now you're installing this lightweight device management. Now I'll pause that really quickly because that's important. So when it comes to user experience, this says very clearly who the organization is. Once your device is enrolled, data associated with accounts and apps managed by your organization will be maintained separately from unmanaged accounts and apps on your device. Managed accounts and apps can be installed, configured, passcode protected, restricted, or deleted by your organization. Your organization will not have access to any data outside of managed accounts or apps. And you can hit details. So as an end user going through this process, you are getting assurances from Apple that there is some separation there at the OS level. So you say, okay, cool. Gonna go ahead and type in my passcode to proceed. It configures that, and now you have your managed Apple ID all set up, and your work partition has been configured on the device. So now this is where there's some improvements to the user experience. So you're not just gonna get all these pop-ups, but you ultimately end up getting self-service. And we're working through some things right now where we would actually auto deploy and auto activate Jamf Trust once it's pushed to the device.
Would Jamf Trust be one of these apps that appears?
It would be. So right now we're doing Wandera in this video, but that would be Trust. And as soon as Trust is pushed, right now you have to open it, but it activates kind of completely automatically here. That's the same experience you would get right now with Jamf Trust. But we want to make that even easier where you don't even have to open Jamf Trust. And there's some things we're doing to make that happen in the second half of this year. But now that I have that all active, I'm getting pushed this EMM managed like Slack version, which IT has said is the only version that will be able to use Slack. And then I sign in with my URL. Again, this could be all automated, so you don't even have to do this part through management. But you sign in, and now, because it's all routing through the VPN there, for this one specific managed application, I'm allowed in, and I'm able to get into Slack. Again, same exact physical device right next to the other Slack application. I'm now in. And same with email. Now I can go into email because MDM pushed a managed Exchange account. It says, oh, wait, all this is already set up for me. I just need to hit re-enter password, single sign-on kicks in where I don't have to do anything, and then the account is fully set up. And you can see these settings are installed by the profile, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it's all been like, this is a managed Exchange account here. And now I open up Mail. Now this data is synchronized. The VPN is actually working behind the scenes to synchronize my email. If I have a Google account in there that's personal, the VPN is not touching that. It's only touching the Exchange traffic to my work stuff. And if I ever leave the company, the organization can remove the VPN and can remove just the email from the Mail application such that, and never touch anything else in there.